Hi, everybody. Here's a quick presentation on morphology and how the study of morphemes, the smallest meaningful parts of a language, how the study of these things, like the pieces that come at the beginning of a word, those prefixes, or the roots, or the suffixes, those little parts that come at the end of a word that change the meaning. If you can own those, then you can own the modularity of the English language, meaning you can take these parts, snap them off, move them and their meanings to other words. Then you can own ever increasingly complex concepts in the language. So, for example, let me share my screen. Over 55% of words in the English language have Latin and Greek roots, Latin and Greek morphemes, if you will. And I would wager that that percentage is much higher for the scientific fields and for the technological fields. When you can understand those word parts, when you know the Latin and Greek roots, or at least the basic ones, that gives you much more leverage in being able to take these concepts, break them up, and use them to further your understanding in newer and even more complex concepts in our fields. So, for example, if you know that jest means to carry something, and you know that in means not, or into, and if you know that die means away, and un or shun effectively nounifies a word, meaning it takes the concept and makes it into a person, place, or thing. If you can understand those parts, then you can create all kinds of words. So, for example, I'm going to take that in and I'm going to slide it over here. That means not or without. And then die means away. And jest means to carry, and un means to nounify or make it into a state of being. Then all of a sudden we've got in, die, jest, shun. And with just these chunks here, I can make a prediction that indigestion means not carrying something away. So literally, indigestion is when your digestive system is not carrying stuff away. Notice how I slid the chunks around. That's going to come into play momentarily, because that's what I'm going to ask the kids to do in an activity, is slide the word chunks around. In biology recently and into this coming week, we're going to be working on sliding these word parts around as we study the digestive system. So in a recent class, I gave these word chunks to the kids, and I said, so if we know that digestive is from the Latin digere, and that the chunks in digestive are digestive, what is the role of the digestive system? So the digestive system takes food and what? Carries it away. Unless you have indigestion, right? So I gave a sentence frame to the kids, right? And just had them start there. The digestive system takes food and what? For our Spanish speakers, we share a lot with Latin and Greek roots. So this lesson has legs for both our English and Spanish speaking students. Well, for any students of any language, actually. So here are the word chunks that we gave to the kids. You'll see digestion is there. but there's a few more with their translations in Spanish too. And what I ask these kids to do in a Pear Deck activity is to slide these terms around to create new words such as epiglottis, esophagus, digestion, and pancreas. And based on the morphemes, what do these words mean? There's the translation. What we've noticed, though, is that if we are really going to use manipulatives, then using Pear Deck, which is a platform I like for sliding tiles around, for draggables, if you will. What we wanted to use more of, though, was some legitimate physical manipulatives that allowed the kids to slide on their desks these terms around to show the true modularity of these word parts. So the science department made these word cards that we cut up and let the kids slide around to make these word parts. In this presentation, which I will share with you, you'll see that there's the phagus, I call them the phagus cards. Phagus meaning is the root for eat. And then a note catcher, so they could take the key words and create their word meanings. I've also added to this slide presentation a significantly bigger and more generalized clearinghouse of the prefixes and Latin and Greek roots that we see again and again in our studies. Please use these. Here's a great place to start with some of our classes, with the 12 most common Latin roots plus the 2 Greek forms that account for 100,000 plus words in our language. Good gravy. In a recent intensive biology section, we introduced all 9 of these forms right away. But you could start smaller with these prefixes and suffixes with other sections, prefixes, suffixes, and roots, rather. I started small with some of my sections and started with the closed syllable prefixes, the ones that have short vowel sounds. And then these open prefixes that have the longer vowel sounds. Depending on your section and your comfort level with this, you can start as small as you like and make it into a very quick do now. But I really recommend making it into a manipulative where the students can take these pieces and slide them around on their desks with their hands. If you have any questions about this, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. And if you would like me to lead a morphology routine of this kind in your section, I would be most happy to do that. And this is certainly not simply for science class. Word roots and morphology can be adapted for any discipline. If you have any questions, again, let me know. Have a wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing you all soon.